On this episode of the InsurTech Geek Podcast, we're talking about predicting risk and preventing claims with computer vision and data science with Josh Butler from CompScience. The InsurTech Geek Podcast is all about technology that's transforming and disrupting the insurance world. We'll be interviewing guests and doing deep dives into specific tech we see changing the industry. We're taking you on a journey through insurance tech, so enjoy the ride and geek out. This episode of the InsurTech Geek Podcast is brought to you by Terra. Learn more about our cloud-native risk management information system at terra.insure. And we are back with another great episode of the InsurTech Geek Podcast with my main man, my co-host, Rob Galbraith. Rob, how are you doing?
Doing well. Looking forward to Thanksgiving holiday just around the corner.
That's awesome. Yeah, me too. Can't wait. The biggest matchup of the college football season is happening in my town in College Station, Texas. I'm not biased or anything, but yes, the entire college football season is leading up to A&M playing UT for the first time in 12 years. And the two top teams in the SEC, which of course is the top conference in college football, are going to smash head-to-head into each other. We'll see who comes out on top, though. The winner of that will probably go into the SEC championship game. So exciting times here in College Station leading up to that. With us from beautiful Oakland, California, with the redwoods in his back window, Mr. Josh Butler. How are you doing, Josh?
I'm doing great, James. Thanks for having me.
Man, so glad to have you on. I love talking about comp, and I know not a lot of people say that, but I actually mean it. I've spent the last, I've spent the last 16 years of my life building software and technology for comp. And so I'm like super geeked out that we get to talk about comp and computer vision and technology.
Well, that really warms my heart to hear you say that. It's not every day.
Yeah, I wasn't like just pandering. Like I'm like actually legitimately excited. So I'm geeked out. Rob's Rob spent a good stint in comp with AF Group, and was at USAA. Did some time in property. I feel like Rob's like that guy he's like that prisoner that did time in the Fed pen and the state pen. And no, I'm just kidding. He's not a prisoner. I did some time in comp, and then I did some time up in property. And
so you're AF Group. Did you know Jacob Geyer? He was the head of specialty over there. He's our head of insurance here at CompScience.
Oh, okay. Yeah, small world.
Yeah, small world.
Yeah. See, it's just like back in prison. You're like, man, did you serve with this guy? Yeah, man, we were in together for 5 years.
He fled the coop and moved to Orlando.
Exactly, which is a prison
better than Lansing,
right.
Michigan. I hate to say that. I went to Michigan State, so I love the area. But
a prison of humidity.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah. Spartan. Just like Jacob.
Yeah, he's a Spartan. They're Spartans. They're but not like the fun Spartans, not the like Spartans, like Mary Catherine Gallagher. Sorry, that's like a Saturday Night Live reference that will only be gotten by people who actually watched SNL in the 90s. Yeah, we're gonna move on from that really quick. So let's look. This is all about insurance and it's all about tech, but. Yeah. At the end of the day, this insurance industry that we love is powered by people. It's like the Charlton Heston film Soylent Green. It's made of people, and so since it's made of people, we like to ask people what they're all about. And Josh, you got a neat, like really, professionally diverse background, sure. And so I just want to kind of talk through. First off, you're born in Boston, but then you're raised down in South Carolina at this school that occasionally is phenomenal at football called Clemson. You're raised there, but you didn't go to school there. You go back up north and you go to Brown University for a bachelor's in comp sci and artificial intelligence back in the early 2000s, which is a very different time for artificial intelligence.
It was the winter of artificial intelligence, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is, are you the winter soldier? And so talk to me, like what led you to leave the comfort of South Carolina and whiskeys in the evening, looking over the flats of the Low Country, and to go up to Rhode Island. What on earth led you to do that, to go to Brown and to study computer science? Like, what was the big goal?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always knew I wanted to build tech products, and I didn't know of any tech products that were built in Clemson, South Carolina. I mean, I think I always figured I'd probably end up in probably Boston. Honestly, it's like I had family up there. You've got all these crazy famous schools up there, and a bunch of research. These days it's like pretty heavy in biotech and robotics. But I back in the day, like I was just always fascinated by how much you could do with just software, not having to worry about like building any hardware, making things work in the real world or anything like that. There was just like this incredible pace of innovation in software and internet. And that was what really captivated me about especially AI is like, what if you could actually teach a computer how to understand people, the world, information, things like that. That's what really inspired me. And I think it's evolved quite a bit since then. And I think it kind of like goes hand in hand with the kind of course of my career. Frankly, like when I graduated, frankly, I took a step back from software initially, as I didn't really believe that you could build the AI that I wanted to build yet. The computer systems weren't there yet. The hardware wasn't fast enough. So everything I was doing in the research lab at Brown was just way too slow. I had a professor who invented the algorithm for tracking body movement.
Cool.
Using just a camera, and it could actually convert a video into like a stick frame, an avatar.
Yeah.
It was like moving just like the person, but it was so incredibly slow. Like you couldn't use it for anything hardly. So I actually stepped back and spent some time I built a school. I built a developer training academy, and I did it in Costa Rica, where I figured if I could train up some people how to build websites and databases, I could probably change their lives. And I did that for like 4 years. Learned Spanish, had an incredible cultural experience, and realized pretty quickly Costa Rica is a really small place.
Yeah, it is.
It's a very, very small country, and if you want to do like world class, like big ideas, I knew I was going to have to move back to the States, and there was a moment there when I did come back after selling the company, and I was like, do I move back to Boston or do I move to Silicon Valley? And I didn't know anybody in Silicon Valley. I didn't know a single person out there, but still, like, just when I visited and I felt the energy of this place, it felt like I was in this warp drive moving forward, like 3 or 5 years from what I'd been experiencing down in Costa Rica. And I just couldn't leave. I knew right away it was the right place to be. And that kind of led me into the rest of my career here.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I had a really similar experience growing up living in Mexico, and was like, I fell in love with Latin America, became fluent in Spanish, just loved it, man. I loved it. It was amazing. But then you kind of have to look at, and the same thing. I fell in love with what software could do when I was 11. I'm 45 now. So 1991, I just was like, man, this is incredible what you can do. And that was before the internet. And the internet comes out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you can really have global reach now. And like, there's been so many cases where, it's been proven that software eats hardware all day long, as far as like, the pace of innovation. Like there was a really famous DoD project where they had like this massive amount of hardware for a self-driving car. And then they had another one that was just a BMW X5 with a ton of software. And the BMW won the challenge, because software eats hardware for lunch all day long, and I think Elon's proving that right now with Tesla and their self-driving vehicles as well. So, I mean, there's just, it's just a neat realization, similar for me, but I kind of went to a slightly different state, equally as big as California, called the great state of Texas. But that's where you and I, our paths diverge there. But that's really neat. What led from these early days to insurance? What was the connector?
Yeah. So I mean, I think if you kind of, if I think about the path of my career, it's really been about like finding new domains where you can apply AI, one after another as like really hardware mostly gets more powerful. And I mean, first thing I did when I moved to the Valley was I joined Facebook. I call it Meta now, I guess. I'm still having trouble getting used to that.
Yeah, me
But,
too.
there was a joke when I moved out here that 95% of PhDs were busy optimizing clicks, and it always felt like, is this really the highest use of everyone's talents? Well, the fact is,
Elon talked about that too. He's referenced that frequently.
Has he really? I mean, I know
yes, absolutely.
Peter Thiel always says like they promised me flying cars, and I got like, what is it, 72 characters or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
X. And the fact is, like Facebook and Google, I mean, I had an incredible opportunity to do product at Facebook, and like lived through the IPO and everything. Like these are incredible products, completely free to everyone. We were talking about Google. You were talking about before this. You never thought anything would ever replace Google on your desktop, and now somehow out of nowhere, ChatGPT
has totally replaced it. Yeah,
but these are two examples. Like the news feed on Facebook and Google search, like they've totally transformed the way that we consume energy, consume information, the way that we connect with each other, the way the world kind of works, right? I think when I moved out here is, I mean, and they're completely powered by AI, essentially, right? They're like processing information, figuring out what information you want to see, all that stuff. When back in, was it late aughts and early 2010s, like this is really like the biggest application you could think of for AI. It wasn't until maybe 10 years ago self-driving cars started really kind of taking off, because all of a sudden you had the compute power. You had the compute power that you could put in a car to actually process like streaming video, and now you could really teach computers how to understand the world. So we're actually bringing the AI into the physical world. And for me, like transitioning from Facebook into self-driving cars was really the next step in the path for me to get into insurance. There's like one more step beyond that, but like actually being able to bring AI like into the physical world is the first step in really helping the insurance industry get a whole lot better at understanding risks and making better decisions. And that's really what we're doing here with CompScience. The way I came up with the idea for CompScience was, while I was working in product at NEO, building self-driving cars there, my father-in-law had an accident on a construction site. I never would have had this idea, honestly, if it hadn't been for that. It totally changed the trajectory of his life, and I guess mine as well. Like going through the recovery from getting ejected from a crane that he was operating, and just seeing the impact on him, both physically and emotionally, and and it affects everyone, the family, it affects everyone. That was really what inspired me to dig into how it's 2020. Like how today are people still getting injured on the job, and they're just trying to like make an honest wage. They're just trying to get home safe at the end of the day, make a, why are we putting people at risk when, we have technology like what I was building for self-driving cars, like this perception technology that can detect the movement of vehicles, that can detect any object pretty much, that can understand the way people interact with the world and the way that they're operating machines, things like that. Like if we can teach these computers to understand those risks and flag those risks in time, then we can actually prevent this stuff from happening. And so it was 5 years ago I started CompScience. I didn't actually think I was going to start an insurance company, though. I actually was originally planning to build a software company.
Yep. Yep. It's the classic quandary, right? Do you build the tool or do you build the company that uses the tool? Yeah.
But the realization really came from DHL. One of our big clients here. We've had a tremendous success, actually. And they told me, Like, why are you asking me to pay for something to prevent something that hasn't happened yet? And I'm like, I don't know how to answer that for you. I'm driving down injuries by like 65% in your facilities. You have 90% less like accidents, like physical damage from forklifts running into things. And it's just, it doesn't compute. It's very hard for someone to figure out how much should I pay for this. But insurance actually closes the gap here. I think one thing I really learned, the first startup I worked at here in Silicon Valley, Rocket Fuel, they IPO'd in, I don't know, it was like 2016 or something like that. The CEO was a genius, Stanford PhD guy. He told me, don't build a product that no one's ever bought before. It's really simple. Build a product that they already buy a lot of, and just make it better than everyone else. And so rather than trying to invent this new software product that is going to save people from getting hurt, and we'll try to charge money for that, why not just sell them workers' comp? They already pay for workers' comp, and they are expecting their insurance company to tell them if they need to make changes to be in compliance. And so that's what we do. We make it look just like a regular old insurance product, like a workers' comp product with a remote inspection. And we use the video analytics to understand better what we're underwriting.
And you're an MGA, so you have a single carrier partner that's the paper that you're writing on?
That's right. Yeah, we're really honored to be backed by Nationwide and Swiss Re. So I have A-rated paper, just tremendous paper, awesome claims. There's really nothing you could possibly complain about. Very strong operations. Like the policy itself is excellent. But people don't think about Nationwide usually for workers' comp. They have multi-line, like very general, very large, like number 4 carrier in the United States. So we've created a unique product that allows them to get exposure to this space and really grow a really high performing book, especially for like higher risk work. We do focus on like industrial. We've added restaurants recently, which is a big fraction of the U.S. economy actually, and they're actually quite dangerous.
Oh yes,
we can do there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's cuts, there's burns. Slip, trip, fall happens to be the number 1 leading cause of injury in restaurants, which you can imagine, grease in the floors, things like that. And we can affect all that. But also, I mean, what's also exciting is you can imagine if we can help with the workers' comp injuries, we can also help with the general liability risk as well. You can see like, are there fall hazards in the front of the house? So we're really only getting started with this workers' comp product. I really believe that bringing AI into the physical world like we're doing here to understand the physical world, to make better decisions, it's going to transform all property casualty, really. And we're already seeing some of this in telematics with auto. I think we're seeing some of that. That's a great parallel. We've seen a lot of adoption now. In fact, it's more often than not. A carrier will ask, especially in commercial auto, what are you using for your electronic tracking devices? Can we get access to the telematics? I think we also have active insurance, like we call this active insurance. We also have this in cyber. We got some great examples of like Coalition. Our investors also have invested in Coalition multiple times, and I mean Coalitions, they're through the roof. I mean, tremendously. We use them.
We do as well. So yeah, absolutely.
Great. Yeah. Absolutely. So I think there's this wave of MGAs kind of like us now. So there was a wave a while ago that was very focused on distribution. What we're really focused on, we always sell through brokers. We think brokers are the right way to ensure that the customers are getting like the very best service package they can get. But we partner with them, and they love selling CompScience because this is something fresh, something new. It's got an added value prop in a product that's very easy to sell, and it's really a very it's the biggest line for their customers, so we can have a huge impact. And everything else out there kind of looks the same. So we're helping brokers grow. That's really what we do.
Awesome. Rob?
Yeah, Josh, I want to know more about specifically how CompScience leverages, AI and cutting edge technology, right? Because I think about traditional work comp, you mentioned the underwriting cycle, obviously, tons of questions, maybe even have a supplement if you're a restaurant or a high hazard occupation, right? So you're going to get some initial, just do we even want you or not, right? Or do you meet our risk appetite? And then if it is, there's usually probably going to be some type of loss control, right? And so you've got an ergo expert or other people going out, they're taking observations, they may give you some recommendations, right, into how you can help reduce losses. But it's similar to, measuring my son who's a teenage driver, right? And just asking his, age, gender, and marital status and saying, well, that's a proxy for how well you drive. Or I could put telematics right in the vehicle and I can actually observe how you specifically, not your demographic, drives. I'm imagining CompScience probably works a little bit similar to work comp. So yeah, maybe you can just kind of talk about that differentiation from what a more traditional work comp provider would do.
Sure. I mean, for one, we like to make it as close to that experience as possible from like a ease of purchase point of view. So rather than like we're not like actively monitoring our customers. There's no like eye in the sky here, right? We actually just let them upload a few hundred hours of video data from their existing systems. They already have systems. Almost everyone has camera systems already, right? They upload some video data. And we it's like a remote inspection. We talked to them about it like it's this is like your pre-inspection almost. But it's not just, you're not just going to get this report that, frankly, most people throw away when they get it. They actually get a really data-driven predictive analytics report that shows here's your likelihood, here's how you index against all your competition on different types of risk, based on our calibrated predictive analytics that have looked like we have over $100 billion in claims in our database now. We have like 10 million hours of video that we've analyzed now. And we can really, it's incredible. We have like 5 million hazards we've identified. And we don't just give them, here are the numbers, we do give them the numbers. This is where you're most likely to have issues moving forward. And we look at both their claims, but also looking forward at their like the hazards, the risks that we're detecting. And then we give them a list of specific recommendations. So we have experts. We don't actually say, AI doesn't replace the human here. It augments the human in a big way. It makes the loss control person 10 times more effective without ever having to go on site. And then we kind of coach the customer through the process, all remotely, of like choosing the things that are going to have the biggest impact. And we get to measure, did they actually implement it? So in a way, it's making us much more consultative. And also we have the advantage of being able to show them photos or video examples of the stuff that they might not know about. And it motivates them to actually take the step, on their own volition. And the implementation rate of our recommendations is just like through the roof. It's like 80%. It's way beyond what any loss control people love working at CompScience, because they feel like they're really having an impact.
Yeah, because people actually listen and do it, right? Because there's the financial incentive for them too.
Oh, there's a financial incentive too. Yeah. I mean, we definitely underwrite and we update our pricing based on participation. And we've seen over 25% reductions on average in frequency in the first year.
Wow.
For customers that use our platform. It's
massive difference.
It's a huge, think about the number of people. There's about 50, last I checked, it was like 50, 60,000 people who we protect today. The rate of the injury rates going down by 25%. That's thousands of injuries. Many of those would be life-changing. And then obviously there's the huge savings. So the real benefits are there's the social impact, human impact. There's the savings for the end customer, but also the brokers. The brokers get to be much more, they can bring more value. They use the same reports. They can be more consultative for their customers too. So yeah, I think everybody wins.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, they win because they have a lower incident rate. They have healthier workers, safer workers, and less downtime. I mean, it's literally like I work with.
We've seen retention rates. Turnover went down by like a half, at one of our customers because of we did a study there. Turnover went down by a half because it just felt safer. People didn't feel like they were at risk.
Yeah. So so turnover goes down. Their number of people that are out from being injured goes down. Their cost of workers' comp goes down. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And
if we tried to do this 10 years ago, it would not have been possible for a few reasons. One, cost of compute was way too high. It cost way too much to process this much video. Two, cameras probably weren't there for most of these companies. And then three, the bandwidth. You couldn't even it was hard to find. Honestly, pre-COVID, when we did start this, there were a lot of customers who were like, we have a cable modem and we're not sure this is going to work. And it's all different. It's all these things have changed now. And on top of that, we're accelerating thanks to the ChatGPT. They have visual models now. You told me ask ChatGPT what it knows about you, and you'll be surprised. Ask ChatGPT to make an image of what it thinks your life looks like, and you'll be blown away. Our staff was doing this earlier this week, and it was uncanny. It shows your kids, it shows your pets, shows the coffee on your desk, everything. It's pretty nuts. So yeah, it's that this technology is accelerating everything about how we build these tools. Because it basically allows us to condense information in ways that a human or loss control guys can really synthesize into really meaningful insights that are going to make a big difference for our customers. And it's you really have to see it to believe it. How insightful a lot of the it actually generates text alerts out of the imagery and the video now. It's really incredibly insightful. It even recommends how to fix it. It knows all the OSHA guidelines. It knows OSHA 910, 926. It knows the EPA limits. It understands chemical data sheets. I mean, it's got all of human knowledge. That it's read all of it, and we're actually and it was just never accessible before. All this information accessible in a format used today.
Did you create a custom GPT inside ChatGPT, or did you go into a different LLM somewhere else?
We have. So I do have one running on my machine here, but in our core system, well, we've created a number of more traditional computer vision models here, but the LLM model we're using we're actually just hitting we have OpenAI, we have Anthropic, we switch between those. Very soon we'll actually be rolling out our own open source based locally run model as well, but we haven't had to yet. It's actually been beneficial just to use you get the very, very latest through the APIs today. So we haven't really had to move that way. Yeah.
But at the heart of
actually,
it,
fine tuning was only released. Visual fine tuning was only released in the last few weeks. We've been able to do, it's incredible how much you can do with, you need to have the data. The hardest thing about this actually is getting the data. That's the hardest part about this whole thing. Do you have a process where customers feel comfortable and know that they're going to be getting significant value for sharing their data? And if you can turn that data into something really meaningful for them.
But are they sharing their security cameras? What are they sharing that you're analyzing?
Yeah, it's mostly security cameras. Mostly. There's also sometimes we can ship them. This is like a little
a game camera, like a deer game camera.
Yeah, they can ship these things too. They have cellular connections now. Costs $120. So you can do that for field work.
Yeah. So the heart of this is a really badass computer vision system that snaps in and watches what's going on and then provides real-time feedback and guidance and coaching so you can get ahead of behaviors that are going to lead to accidents and stop them in their tracks. Is that accurate?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The nuances and understanding what are the things if you see them, you can actually impact, you can actually drive change around and really make it a meaningful reduction in risk. And it's a big product development question. It requires safety expertise, technical expertise, and also sort of a human element. How do you compel people to make change, even if it's not the easiest thing? I think that's one thing that's really special about our team here is they're good at influencing. They're good at influencing based on, we know this works. We know this works. We've seen it work before. They're very consultative. We don't like demand things from our customers. I don't think we've ever really said like, you must do this or else. Because we're partnering. We're really changing the relationship in a big way. And I think that the data and the power of this product is that we can be a real resource for our customers in a way that your traditional carrier really hasn't been able to.
Awesome. Rob?
Yeah, Josh, 2 questions for you. Number one is what's the best profile, I guess, of a client that works best for you, right? Industrial, do you do agricultural, right? Construction, et cetera. I imagine some type of high hazard, right? And then, size, right? Small, medium, large, kind of, what size premium account, if you have, a sense of that. And then the second would be, where do you write? I imagine Nationwide has, a nationwide footprint. So I don't know if you're licensed to do business all 50 states or not, but if you're a broker out there and you're hearing this and you're thinking you've got some clients that might be a great fit for, Josh and CompScience, how could they get in touch with you or find out more?
Great question. Here's what I'd say. We generally write policies that are 100K and up. I think brokers love us, especially for the larger deals, because they have a much better win rate working with us, especially for the larger deals. And we can have the absolute largest impact as well for those large customers. As far as verticals, I mean, we started out really in what we call 4-wall risk. So think of manufacturing as like the most general version of that. But if you look within that, you'll see like we're doing everything from like, plastics and wood manufacturing, metal manufacturing, bus manufacturing, things like that. But food manufacturing, food processing is actually where we see like the absolute highest win rates and the biggest impact. That's a huge industry. More recently, we launched into restaurants where we're getting a ton of interest, and there's actually a lot more pain in that industry. So we're talking like chains, usually 5 or more restaurants, huge industry there. And then also construction. We recently signed a deal with a group that's helping support us with our in getting this product, this technology into the field for the highest risk, the very highest risk. They're like, if there's not a massive risk, they're not interested. So we're really excited. We're working with bridge builders. We're targeting like commercial roofing. These are like, even commercial drivers as well. There's a lot of risk in commercial drivers, and I can dive into that for those who would ask like, how do we make it work with the dash cams? But we love customers that are safe. We love customers that have low mod rates and all that. But we know we can have the absolute biggest impact, and in fact, we can, I think, get uniquely aggressive with those that have had some bad years. If our goal here is to really help turn around the ones that are really struggling in a lot of ways, and maybe they're trying to get out of the state fund, or they're trying to like just trying to get that mod rate back down. We're really like we love those cases, and that's I think where we often partner best with brokers.
That's great. So what's you've hung your hat and are making your name on computer vision and on loss prevention, right?
Yeah.
What's and obviously you're just getting into the phase where you have fine tuning available inside ImageRec on large on ChatGPT and I mean, like you're just getting to where some of the really good stuff's coming out. So what do you think that you can talk about publicly? Like what do you think's next that you're really fired up about?
Yeah, I mean, I think all those things just accelerate our product development tremendously. And I think we have a nice lead. We're the only ones in the market with anything like this. Even if there are tech vendors that do that kind of monitoring with alerts using like computer vision AI. Absolutely, those exist, but we're the only ones that are able to really deliver a workers' comp policy without having to pay for anything else. It's all just bundled in. And you know what? You don't even need you don't need to let us monitor you either. I think that's a big thing. A lot of customers don't really want that from their carrier, so you don't need to do that. We'll definitely allow people to opt into that if they want to. I think so. Okay.
How do you? Well,
lots of acceleration
wait,
there.
Well, wait. How do you deliver? How do you deliver the value of analyzing their video without monitoring them?
Well, we it's like an inspection, but think of an inspection with 100 times more data. So a typical inspection, you get like 2 hours on site, maybe, and everyone knows you're there, and they're on their best behavior. So I think we know you can imagine how much data you really get about the facility. Well, we get 200 to 500 hours of video across the entire facility. We do it multiple times a year. We get a lot like that. The point is to get as much data as you can so you can deliver the best insights. And we do that great without having to sort of like broach into that, like, Big Brother watching kind of a position that you might have if you were forcing them to accept being monitored. Now, if they want to opt into it, we'll absolutely offer that. So anyway, that's to that point, and we get a tremendous amount of value just from these batch runs. But if you look at other opportunities that are out there outside of this kind of core product area, I mean, there's a lot that it's being unlocked just in improving processes. I mean, everything gets done over email today, right? You get loss runs, you get all these supplementals, all this stuff. Like, even just automating a lot of that document management allows us to not only like save a lot of time and get quote turned around much faster, but also we can go much deeper in the data and see if you have a 30-page loss run from a customer, we actually go look at each and every one of them, and we generate insights about specifically the nature of their history, so that we can decide how aggressive can we get based on what we know about how good we are at preventing specific types of losses. So that's one area that we're actively developing out right now. I think there's also, on the claims side, like, let's be real, like
that was my next question.
Service we really offer like most carriers really offer is claims. We're lucky to have nationwide's like top tier claims specialists like servicing our customers, but there's absolutely a lot of variability in outcomes from one specialist to the next, right? So I think this is an excellent application for LLMs, and we haven't got into it yet. I'm sure there are startups out there that are thinking about this, but like, what if you ask the LLM just like so what could a specialist have done better across if you're a big company, like thousands of claims, right? What could they've done better? How could we train them to improve the service they're offering to these people who've been injured, and frankly should just, probably looking for someone to show a little bit of compassion and a little bit of help getting back on their feet. I think there's a tremendous amount that we'll see of improvement from a service perspective there.
Well, that was going to be my last question is, so you're running you have your own adjusters and you're running your own claims? Or are you using a TPA?
Nationwide's doing it for us.
Okay. So they're acting as your TPA essential, even though they're the paper, they're also handling the claims.
Yep.
Using their own software or yours?
They're using their own. So we haven't scratched the surface in claims yet.
I was going to say, you haven't even really touched claims and what you could really do there.
Yeah, we're absolutely. We're they've done a tremendous job, and they've been doing this for a long time.
Yep.
But we're talking with them right now. We're just down there in Phoenix, talking to our team about how we can partner more deeply. And I think this is a really interesting area where we specifically, coming from the tech world, we could help, probably help them beyond our own program, and with some great tools here. So I think this is an area that is going to see some tremendous innovation. It makes total sense, especially given all the progress with LLMs recently.
Yeah, that's awesome. By the way, I did ask when you told me to. I asked I asked ChatGPT, generate an image of what you think my life looks like, and then it just gave me a text narrative.
Oh. I'll have to figure out which one they use.
I think they said proverbial image. Maybe they were thinking. I don't know.
It was the one I saw was pretty epic. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah. Well, also, it's I think I was using Preview 01 instead of the. Instead of there, I'll switch the Well, it's thinking too much instead of generating an image, and so I just switched back to GPT 4.0 to see what kind of image it creates. There awesome. We go. Now that's okay. That's cool. You're right.
You send it to me offline?
I'm going to send it to you offline because actually it's super cool.
It blows my mind. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world to be doing what I'm doing, honestly. Yeah. Not only do I get to play with the coolest tech, but we also have to get to have this enormous impact on people's lives. It's I mean, this is definitely like, this will be my life's work. Absolutely. And stay tuned. There'll be lots more product coming out.
Amazing. Well, if you decide you want to hang out with all the other entrepreneurs moving back east to Texas, come on. We'll welcome you with open arms in Texas. But if you want to stay out there, that's cool too. I love Silicon Valley. I love the area. But super excited about
names to Texas over the last few years.
Yeah, you have. It's amazing how regulatory environments and tax policy impacts people's decisions. But it turns out they care. I'm really excited to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time today. We are out of time, but I really appreciate it, and we will catch you in the future. And for all of you out there in listener land who are listening, thank you for tuning in today to geek out for our interview with Josh Butler from CompScience. This is James Benham, your InsurTech geek, and Rob Galbraith. Rob, do you want to say something? I'll edit it.
No, just appreciate all the listeners out there. Thank you for your loyalty. And thanks, Josh. Fascinating conversation. And I'm really excited to see what comes next.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to Geek Out. See you in the next episode.